Okay, it's been about 5 days since we put the compost in and have filled this up to the full level, and I haven't touched it, done anything with it. I'd had that bucket I'd set in there on top of the cardboard just because it was a convenient place to put it, but I haven't, otherwise I've not touched this anything at all. And so we can see how much it's dropped. It's dropped at least 3/4 of a board or so since it was put in there, like I said, 5 days ago. So let's see what it looks like. And oh yeah, look at that. And just in 5 days, looks really good, as expected. And you will always expect to see this. Along the edges, it's a little drier because of the air and whatever, so it doesn't always compost very well. But inside, oh, it smells so good. And like here on these leaves, it didn't get composted, but look underneath it, wow, it's done really well. We really need some compost right now, so this is really a welcome sight. Oh, the smell is so wonderful. If you've never done this in composting, this is the right kind of stuff to do. Oh, and it's hot, wow. So it's doing very well. It still needs to cook just a little more. We can probably clean some of this and start to use it as early as next week. That's really warm. I don't see steam coming off, but it's quite warm, even through my gloves. So it's all doing real well. I'm just going to cover it back up and let it continue to cook. This is one of the reasons you want a tall compost pile, because the taller you put it, then it gets that oven. You know, it has space inside of it to be like an oven. So this is doing extremely well, and hopefully we'll get to use it next week. And I get to go put in, this was my little present this morning, 3 bags of food. They're starting to get the idea that we can do this composter, and they're starting to see the results of using the compost for their plants. So everybody's starting to ask for compost. I said, well, you want compost, we got to get the food waste, so stop throwing it away and putting it in the garbage. So they're starting to bring me more. So this is a little bit that we got last night. I need to throw that in, and we'll get moving on some more compost. But this compost pile is doing real great. You ought to do some composting yourself. It's really good for your plants, and this stuff really is valuable for the planet. Here we are on the 26th, a little later in the afternoon than I usually get out here and work on this, but they're needing some compost, and so I'm going to get in here and take a look, see what we've got. So far it looks pretty good. It's down considerably. At least one whole board. It was up here about 3/4 of the way when we started it, and now it's been about a month, so it's down in the front anyway. I can take the front board out, see what it looks like. Well, it's not all composted, but that's a piece of that's normal, because around the edges you don't get a lot of everything composted. So let's pull this back, see what it looks like underneath. Oh yeah, it looks real good under here. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit, see if it's going to be ready for taking any out. Might be able to. Let me try to go ahead and pull in while we're doing this video. Let's see about pulling this bottom one. Should just come up. I'm going to have to set the camera down for just a second. And pull this up here. Oh, that smells good. That smells really good. So let's step back here and take a look at what we got. And you can see that we've got some layering going on. Some of the grass that we'd put in there has on the edge grown just a little bit, which this is all to be expected. Very normal for a compost pile. But in the bottom You can see where it's really compacted and everything's looking really good. So I'm going to turn this and see if we can look at getting any out of it. And if not, well, we'll have to wait another couple of weeks and see where we go. There's a lot of sticks and stuff, as we know, when we put this mix in. There was a lot of sticks, and we need to get those out. So we're going to be looking at filtering all of this, maybe trying to do some this weekend. Well, as I pull the cover, pulled all that cardboard off, this top looks real good, except for this. And this is something that's inevitable. I mean, we got some tunneling going on here, and it looks like he's come in from over there, which points to this corner. And if we look down behind that corner, we can see that there's been a lot of compost pulled out over there. This tells us that we have a rat. Now, we knew that. We're next to this school, and they've got lots of garbage out and stuff, and we knew that there was at least one rat running around, and he's been in the compost before. We were hoping that some of the methods we had done was taking care of him, but so far no good. Anyway, don't see any live ones, so there's no babies, but you can see there's a nest being developed there. So it's a good time for us to be getting in here and stirring this up. It's one of the reasons you want to stir, or you want to consider stirring a compost pile like every week or two, and that keeps the rats out a lot. As we thought, with all the kids running around and me being out here every day, that this would be a better location, but no, obviously not. So we continue to look for signs of them and see if there's any more problems with them. Well, I know this is getting to be a long video, but I wanted to just show a couple of things as I'm turning here. I've cleared out the front, and I've found several things that are not surprising and a few things that are surprising. One, the sides are dry, we know that. The inside, we'd put a lot of weeds in here, and we put a lot of paper, and as you can notice, there's not a lot of paper here. There's some of it stuck together and got wet and turned anaerobic, and so that it's smelly when I get down in there, which is interesting because it's right next to where the heart of it is, and as you can tell here, it got really hot inside of there, and it's real dry. And I hope you can see down inside in there, it's also white, and that's signs of it got real dry, which basically just tells me I should have turned this a week or so back, which I kind of knew, but I just haven't had the time. And it doesn't hurt to leave it, but it doesn't really help it either, because now it's going to have to come up to heat again. It's not hot at all inside there, and which tells me that it's another sign that it's been too long. And so now the whole pile will have to reheat and start again, which just means that I'll have to wait longer. I was hoping to take some of this out and filter it, but I don't see that that's going to be possible. Another sign that it was a little cold, I found a worm. I only found one so far, but there was a worm in here, and that tells you that it's obviously not very hot, because worms don't like it when it's hot. So there's some of the lessons to learn. You got to turn this every 2-3 weeks, and I haven't had a chance to turn it in like 6 weeks. So we'll have to wait another couple of weeks before we can pull anything out of here.